Hello, geeks, fans, and nerds of all types and sizes. This is your friendly neighborhood beer vet once again. Hope you all doing all right and staying safe. I know some of the members of the Phantom Menace are living in areas where the riots are actually and the protests are actually happening. We have a small protest here where I live. I live in a small town in Missouri, so we're spared most of the rioting and stuff, which is good. But I hope everybody's staying safe, staying healthy, being good to each other, and staying out of these hellholes that's going on. Anyways, this video is going to be the first of a series I am doing. I'm going to start with a Hobbit, then I'm going to go to. I'm following the movies. What I'm going to do is this: what I'm doing. I'm doing the Lord of the Rings series, where I'm doing. I've read the books or I've listened to the audiobooks. And then I'm watching the movies. And I'm comparing the movies to the books. And what the difference is. Do I think the movies did justice? What problems did I see in the movies that was not, or a difference? Pretty much a difference. The books are fantastic. I recommend you pick up all the books from The Hobbit, all the way to Return of the King. I'm going to be reading Return of the King soon. But this is part one of this series, where I just finished watching part one of The Hobbit, the first movie. There's 3 movies in The Hobbit to complete that book. So I'm just going to do the beginning of The Hobbit, comparing it to the beginning of the book. So it starts off with, Gollum doing his good morning little thing with Bilbo. Bilbo says good morning, Gandalf makes it, is it a good morning, or do you mean good morning, sir, or do you mean you think it's a good morning, or, whatever. There's a little speech that, it's pretty funny, and Bilbo's kind of confused, like, wait, what? All of them? They do a good job at this point. They really show, like, the confusion and how Bilbo's kind of lost, and Gandalf is pretty much signing him up for this, trip, I should say. I don't think they really missed anything important in the movie from the book. This is the new movies, by the way. I'm going by the movies, and I'm going to follow. Not new, but you know what I mean. But yeah, and the songs are pretty much, from the book. They didn't keep all the songs, but they did a pretty good job showing, I think they should have made the doors a little more businessy, because a couple of them sound more like merchants in the books than they do in the movie. The movie, they're all like warriors and tough, but the books, they're more like business-like, so, anyways, the whole dinner, the thing, what I remember is it was pretty much the same in the book. The main difference in the beginning is when Bilbo wakes up the next day. In the book, he wakes up, sees they're all gone. At first, he thinks maybe it was just a dream. So he makes himself breakfast. He sits down on the porch, and he's smoking his pipe, waiting for his breakfast. He eats breakfast. Gandalf walks up and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "What do you mean, what am I doing?" He's like, "Didn't you see the letter I left you on your thing where it tells you to meet us at the Green Dragon?" It's like the local bar inn, kind of place where they're supposed to meet you at 11 sharp. You have 5 minutes. Pretty much you have it's like 5 minutes till. And he goes, "What? What are you talking about?" And he gives him the letter, and he reads the letter. "Hey, please, Bilbo, meet us, blah, blah, blah. We will start our journey here. We are all going to collect what we need. Make sure, you're ready to go. I mean, it's at 11 p.m. sharp. Don't be late." Or 11 a.m. pretty much. Bill looks at his clock and realizes that it's 5 minutes to 11 is what happens in the book. And he's like, "Well, it's too late now. I'm not going to make it. I haven't got ready. I don't have anything." And Gandalf says, "Don't worry about it. Just go." And he commands him to run. And so Bilbo just runs. He doesn't know why he's running. He's literally in the book. It's like he's confused why he's actually running. And he's running at full speed trying to make it to the thing. He makes it just at 11 to the Green Dragon. And they're all like, "Oh, good, you're right on time." And he's got nothing. He's got no pack, no cloak, no sticks. He mentions he doesn't even have a handkerchief. He is not ready for the road, pretty much. And they all, you know, he's like, well, I wish I had time to get ready and bring my handkerchief. And they said, oh, you won't need all those necessary, you know, those things on the road. And they give him a pack. They give him spares from amongst themselves, like extra stuff, extra food, and pack and everything, cloak. So now he's okay. And they walk quite far. They have a couple ponies. They don't have ponies for everyone. So they're switching back and forth throughout the book. Some ride, some walk. And it's miserable. In the book, it's raining constantly. You know, he's always, you know, at first it's not too bad. He's actually enjoying it, and he's going beyond. You know, he gets to the edge of the Shire, and he talks about how he's never been beyond the Shire, and how big of a moment it is for him to finally step over, you know, that area. And then they go into, yeah, they leave. I'm trying to think about everything that happens in the book. There's a lot, and the book is big. So they keep going in the book. In the movie, they kind of show it. They're all on horses, though. And Bilbo's got his pack. He's all pretty much ready to go. And the only thing he's missing is his handkerchief. And he goes, hey, stop in the movie. He's like, hey, we need to go back. And they're like, they just pull out a piece of cloth, throw it to him. Like, use that. I don't mind the movies. I actually like them for being separate. Like, if they weren't called The Hobbit, if they didn't belong in the actual Lord of the Rings, I think the movies would be far better received. The Hobbit movies. Nowhere near as good as the Lord of the Rings actuals. You know, the Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King are way better, but still. And they keep going, and then it talks about Oaken's shield and how he used a shield to defend himself. A lot of that stuff I don't remember in the book. I don't remember talking about Moria, going back to Moria. They did say that one of his family did go to reclaim Moria, but it wasn't him. So that whole, you know, the great armies and the big battle wasn't in the book. They did try to retake their home from the dragon, but unfortunately they lost. They weren't able to. So they keep going. And another thing in the book, there is no white orc. There is no, you know, the big, whatever his name is, you know, the white orc. He's not in there at all in the books. You know, at all. They are pretty much, they go, so they meet Elrond. You know, they weren't chased. I don't believe in the books. I think they're chased by the wolves and the wolf pack leader. There's a wolf who talks. They talk in their own tongue, which is kind of believable. They can't kind of understand it. When they finally get to Rivendell, you know, a lot of the stuff in the movie and the book were kind of the same, except in the book, I don't think Saruman is in it at all, or the lady, and there's no dagger. It doesn't talk about that at all. Gandalf actually goes in the book and goes to that place and sees the necromancer, and that's where he actually, it says in the book, that's where he found the key, and Thorin's father, who was captured and tortured until he lost his mind. So he rescued him, but his father disappeared again. But that's where he got the key, and the map is from his father. And when he rescued him from the necromancer. So that wasn't in the movie at all. It was Radagast in the movie that goes and sees the necromancer. But I don't remember that in the book. The book it continues to the goblin. Let's go to the goblin caves. That actually, I think, was a lot closer to the book. Okay, let's go back a little bit to Rivendell. At the end of Rivendell, and how they had the dwarves left and Gandalf stayed behind. That didn't happen in the books. Gandalf was with them at the time when they went up in the mountains, and they found the little cave, and then opened up, and they were all taken. Well, in the book, it's like a hole opens up in the back of the cave, and the goblins rush in and grab them while they're sleeping. Instead of, them dumping them into, a little slide, and then they go into a cage. That never happened in the book. Bilbo wasn't even in. He actually came in after them because he noticed the goblins taking them in their sleep and slipped away. And so he follows them almost pretty far until he actually, something had collapsed. I believe he collapses and he falls. I think it's during the whole battle. He actually falls into the hole, down to where Gollum is. The Gollum scene was actually really good in the movie and the book. The book is a little more denser because there's an island that Gollum lives on in the middle of this lake. It's so the movie makes it a lot lighter than the book does. The book makes it sound like he can't see anything. So when they're doing their whole game, all he can see is Gollum's eyes, because Gollum has this like glow in his eyes, and the water is super dark, and there's things in the water that are dangerous. So he doesn't want to get into the water. Gollum's very sneaky, very sly. He's kind of both in the book, but in the book he is a lot more sinister than in the movie. And the riddle game actually lasts a lot longer in the book than it does in the movie. There's a lot more riddles. And then he tricks Gollum. Really, what's in my pocket question, and Gollum can't answer. Gollum gets mad, so he runs off. That part kind of happened. Yeah, he did get stuck. They did a good job in the movie where he got stuck. His buttons came off, because that was a big thing in the book, that all his buttons came off. And he was kind of mad because those were custom made, his buttons, and he really liked those things. You got to think in the books, the hobbits are very materialistic in a way. They really like their things. So when he loses his buttons, he's like, well, that's a shame. I lost my good buttons. I like this jacket. He should be like, oh crap, I'm still stuck in the middle of a goblin hole. I'm just like, oh, my buttons. Then he goes invisible. Gollum can't find him. So Gollum believes that he knows the way out. So Gollum's like, that tricky hobbit, he knew the way out this whole time. He lied to us. So Gollum actually runs off to find the exit. And so he just follows him into a crossroad area, across tunnels, where there's tunnels going different ways. And he's like, well, I hear goblin. And he starts to hear the goblins yelling and screaming because, they killed the king, pretty much. The son of the king, really. He wasn't the king of the goblins. He was like the prince of the goblins or something. And who was in charge of this main area. In the book, I don't believe he's as fat as the movie portrayed. But when they kill him, that's what kind of pisses off the Goblin King, is that they killed his son. So he's the one that puts a bounty on their heads and sends goblins after them. But that's like, they don't see that until like the end of the whole Hobbit book, when the goblins come down to fight the war. But that's for another time. Where they get out and they're chased by the wolves, there are no orcs on the wolves. Okay, they're just wolves. So the wolves are chasing because they're hungry and they want to eat them. And they come to that area with the forest. They climb the trees. Instead of like throwing pine cones of fire, Gandalf throws like blue fire. Actually, rainbow color fire. If you really think about it, in the book it says fire color, different colors, all different kinds of colors. And he sends all these different color flames down upon them. and it causes all the trees to burst into flames, which alerts the eagles. Because there's no summoning. Gandalf doesn't summon the eagles in the book, okay? There's no moth, and he goes, and the moth goes gets the eagles. So the eagles are like flying around. They see the smoke, and they hear the howls. And the king of the eagles is with them. And they're wondering what's going on. So they come down to see what's going on. And they see the dwarves in the trees, and you know, they're like, well, you know what? I guess we can help them. So they come down, mostly for sport, because they hate wolves. And they come down and they attack the wolves. And Gandalf asked the king of the eagles if he would be kind enough to take them away from here. Because they drive the wolves off, but the forest is still on fire. And it's coming closer and closer to where they are. And so the eagles agree, and they say they would take them, as you know, so they grab them, and they take them to their own nest, which is like top tier mountain area where they can't get down. So the eagles are sitting there wondering what to do with them. And so the king of the eagles is talking with Gandalf for a while, and Gandalf, and he knows Gandalf because Gandalf saved, I think, his child or him something. I can't. What happened in the book? I believe it saved his child from a curse or something. I don't remember. I have to look in the book again. But pretty much the eagles agree to take them. They won't take them to a human area. They won't take to a populated area. But they said, hey, we can take you down to this valley, you know, several hundred leagues from where they are. That'll help them increase their journey, get to where they need to go faster. So they actually ride on the eagles. Each of them does. Most of them don't want to because they don't like flying. They don't like the experience of flying. The dwarves definitely don't like the experience of flying. They'd rather be on the ground. But they finally agree. So the eagles take... Water's dripping all over my freaking stuff. The eagles agree. So they fly them to their area. They drop them off. You know, the dwarves say, hey, why don't you just fly us all the way to the mountain? They say, no, it's too dangerous. You could alert the dragon to their presence. And they don't want that kind, you know, they don't want the rage of the dragon upon them. So they take him down to a valley. They drop him on his ruins, and then they're going to go. And they're not too far from Mirkwood, I believe. Mirkwood's coming up soon. But pretty much that's the end of the first movie. But yeah, the major problems I had with the movies is the White Orc. There was no White Orc in the books. There was no like super villain, as you were. It was just a journey. And I know the movies needed something to be like the bad guy, so they created the White Orc. And then they kind of dumbed down the wargs, or they weren't talking. I wish they had them talking. That'd be a lot more better. And the eagles, I wish they had like a conversation in the movies between the eagles and Gandalf, but they didn't. They just dropped them off and flew off. And in the movies, the eagles fly them to like a mountaintop that kind of has a slope downwards, so they could just leave. And there's no conversation. They didn't take them to their kingdom in the mountains. They just take them to an area, drop them off, and fly away. Which I kind of understand they couldn't put everything in the books and the movies. That was still a pretty cool thing, where like the king of the eagles is talking with Gandalf, or soon to be king of the eagles, I should say. It wasn't the king at the time. Soon it would become the king of the eagles. That I had problems with that. You know, the warg's not talking. You need to have the wolves actually speak. The chief wolf gets pissed because he gets burned. They hit him in the face with fire, scarring his face really bad, and that really pisses off the wolf leader. But yeah. So in all, oh, I totally forgot the trolls. Oh, okay. The three trolls. You know, where they talking about cooking the dwarves. Totally passed that. My bad. During that part, it is kind of like the book, except the doors didn't attack. In the movie, they attack them, and they're like attacking. In the book, Bilbo goes into their camp, and he steals something from them. And he's proud of himself, and then they catch him, and then he's like, "Hey, you know, I'm a hobbit." And they're like, "What the fuck's a hobbit?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm not, you know, not big tasty and stuff." I'm like, "Well, is there more of you around?" And he goes, "No, of course not." And they can smell the dwarves on him. Like, he smells like a dwarf. I bet there are dwarves around. And so they go out. The trolls sneak off, and they catch the dwarves unaware, and most of them sleeping. So most of them don't even know what's happening, and then they're plunked into a sack, feet out, so you can't see their faces. In the movie, they're all, you can see their heads. So they're all feet come sticking out, just twitching around, thrown into a sack. They're talking about bashing him, turning him to jam. And, you know, Bilbo comes out and goes, "Hey, you don't want to do that. You want to do this. Maybe cook him with that." Because he's trying to, you know, buy time. He doesn't even know Gandalf is there. And so he's trying to buy time, pretty much, just hoping that Gandalf will come back. And then Gandalf does. He splits the rock, shows the sun, they become fucking statues. And then they let all the dwarves out, and they're all fucking pissed because they got ambushed and thrown in the sacks. So them all attacking the trolls and battling them, that never happened in the book. And then they discover the three main swords: Sting, Galandil, Foehammer, and Goblin Cleaver. And Gandalf's sword, Foehammer. So, and those, you know, the Goblin Cleaver is a famous sword that killed many orcs and goblins. Sting is actually given the name Sting by I believe Elrond in the book, because he goes, "Hey, is my blade special?" And Elrond takes it and goes, "This is a knife. It's a short sword for elves, like a very tiny, you know." And he says, "I believe its name is Sting, for it stings. It's like a sting." So that's the name of his weapon. But yeah. All right. Well, I'll end it there for now, since I'm already almost 23 minutes. Hope you all stay safe, stay healthy. I'll be doing part 2 of The Hobbit here soon, as I finish the movie, and I'm going to look through the book again just to make sure where I'm at. But all right, well, have a good one, and just be good to each other. All right, please like, sub, and share. I know I'm not the biggest YouTuber yet, but I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to keep working hard and keep bringing you guys stuff that's fun and interesting. All right, have a good one.